So, hey, welcome back. Episode number 4, Stack the Box. Here with my usual host of Ben Freeman in the corner with rocking early Movember, and Sam Polisi, who's just been still living from Movember from last year. Just let it grow all out. And in addition to the standard team tonight, we got the Nua brothers, Nat and Mark. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Great to have you guys here. Of NSC fame. And so, I'm going to pass it over to Sam. Sam's going to kick it off for our first question.
Yeah, I am. Wow, cool. So welcome, boys, to this Stack the Box podcast. We've known each other for quite a while. But I think what's, I guess, your guys' input in the last couple of years to the game and hopefully moving forward has been around this engagement around our big boys, linemen. I've been very privileged to take along to some of them, but for the millions of our viewers, many wouldn't have made it out to these camps. So if you can, talk us through what does big man football camps look like? What does it look like in the States? If there's any background to how long they've been around, and then just some ideas of maybe what that could look like in New Zealand, please, boys.
Yep. All right. Nice to meet with you guys this evening and have a chat about football. That's always something that I'm pretty open to and something that I know a little bit about. And so in regards to the big man or camp clinics that NSC, which is me and my brothers, basically just conducting some clinics there to try and teach offensive linemen, defensive linemen technique, the run block, the pass block techniques, and even try and drill I guess the mindset of these particular positions and the players that play the positions. I think if you observe the game long enough, you realize that if you don't have a decent offensive line, then the offensive side of the ball doesn't function at optimal. At the end of the day, you still need to, it's whoever outscores the opposition wins the game kind of thing. And if you don't have the offensive lineman, to block for your running game or pass protect for your passing game, then the game can be quite stagnant and boring. So that's where we want to start. Once we can build the technique up from that position, and then we can hopefully it'll flow on where we can get other positional coaches involved and improve the game itself. And so they're basically, the way it's done in the US, it can be a day or a 2-day thing. Kids come in the morning, they meet and greet. We give them an idea or rundown what the day involves, and that's a lot of technique stuff. And then coach the kids along to just the basic things of learning, the proper stance and things like that, and the right footwork, body position, pad level. So there's a lot involved with it, and it's the same thing that I guess we want to start here in New Zealand, and both of us, being former offensive linemen, I think that's our experience, that's our background, and so we'll start with those positions and hopefully move on to include the other positions of the game as well.
just to jump in there too. So there's nothing more pleasant to the eye than seeing a punishing offensive line. And we really want to elevate that part of the game. And it's all good being skillful, but being an offensive lineman, a true offensive lineman, it's an art. So we're trying to teach the art of offensive line play. And obviously Mark's experience lends itself to that. I had the privilege last year of being up in Northern California, and I went to Pittsburgh High School, and I saw a MIT, a Men in the Trenches comp or battle live. So there were like 11 high schools, 12 high schools from Northern California. They sent their best offensive linemen, you know, and these kids were, the 14, 15-year-olds were minimum 6'4", 6'5", anywhere from 280, you know, up to 300. And they've even got kids younger, but it's a real sort of battle style format, and it's pass pro heavy. And they just go at it. And it's a great competitive setup. You can see the high schools, you know, they're all getting fired up, checking each other out. The coaches are right in behind it. They were quite interested in me being there from New Zealand, and then they were already sort of pulling me aside. Have you got any big kids in New Zealand, et cetera, et cetera. And these are only high schools. But we thought, man, this is a really good format that would work really well in New Zealand, because being from here, when it comes to combative and controlled aggression, rugby and rugby league, that's our wheelhouse. So Kiwis aren't scared of that. They love that stuff. So, you know, we got the blessing from the godfather of Men in the Trenches football, Jesse Sapporo. So he said, you know, look, go and spread the word, as it were. Make converts. So that's what we want to do, essentially, is come here, and his, you know, a large percentage of the kids that go to his personal camp, and then those Men in the Trenches camps, end up getting Division I college scholarships, etc., etc. So those are skills that we want to try and pass on, teach that art of offensive lineman play. Yeah.
Wicked. It's I know Sam mentioned a couple of episodes ago about so Rob had mentioned the format of the AFA season, how it was going to be, you know, a bit of flag football, and then also these big man camps on the side, and how from the outside it might look as, you know, the guys, the receivers, the quarterbacks jumping around, you know, like likened it to recess, and then the big boys are off in detention just beating each other up kind of over there. But I love the sound, and I guess Sam countered with saying, look, it's fun, you know, guys, like you touched on there, Matt, how the Kiwi boys love the combative style of things, and the controlled aggression, and the ability to compete on a down to down basis, rep to rep, and that, yeah, those MIT, that format, I guess, just the battle. No doubt it is a day or two of just going at it and getting your wins, and it is still definitely some fun. Having played in the trenches before and having to work out how to block and deal with guys much bigger. That's what I loved about it, is the head space that goes on in there, you know, the little battles and things, and because it is an art, isn't it? It's choice in there, so that sounds nice, man.
Yeah. Definitely.
I have always tried to argue that football is 10%, 90% brain, 10% brawn, but I think that's just because I'm trying to make up for my lack of brawn. But, you know. Yeah, so, I mean, on that note, like you guys both overemphasize that importance of an offensive line. How hard do you think it is to transition players where you bring these boys in from rugby and league, or you get the odd young fella that comes over from rugby league? If you're playing prop, hooker, flanker, whatever, in either of those codes, you might score a try. There's some possibility that you could score a try. You could get the girl at the end of the game. In gridiron, the quarterback gets the chicks. The O-line, man, if you're a center, you get to snap the ball. But if you're a guard and tackle, you get to punish somebody if you learn to love it and you learn. But how hard is it to bring boys into that mentality where it's like, yeah, man, welcome to this awesome sport where you get to bang up the person in front of you. Do I ever get the ball? No. Do I ever get to score? No. Do I ever get to tackle anybody? Not legally, but let's go. How hard do you reckon that
Mm.
transition is for some of those young Kiwi fellas?
I think, with the competition, so we're now, since we're getting into our mid branch of what we want to get into, I think competition itself leads into that spirit where, okay, so it doesn't matter, you get to touch the ball, so you get to go up one-on-one against somebody, and that's the true, I guess, judgment or challenge. The days when I was running around on the rugby field and stuff, it was always felt, why is it me against 6, 7, 8 other guys trying to tackle me? And then so in this game of football, right, it's one-on-one. If it's the same guy you go up against for 50 plays, you smash him 50 times, you win. On a rugby field, you're going up against 6 guys because you happen to be holding the ball, so they're all coming for you. So I think it's, it's how we word it, and to challenge the kids themselves. Hey, you want to touch the ball, you can go ahead and touch the ball, but it's one on 6, 1 on 7, 1 on 8. You don't have to touch the ball in this game. It's one-on-one. That's just you against him.
Nice.
And
I like
that competition thing just definitely gets the kids motivated, because it's a good way to judge how they're doing.
Right, I guess
I think-
the opportunity to have 50 wins inside a one game, doesn't it? If you win each rep,
That's right.
progress there and success on each individual rep. So yeah.
I think it comes down to how we present it, how we present the challenge to the kids, right, or to anybody, to any to the senior player, to the women's player. Okay, you want the ball, you got 1 on 5, 1 on 6. Offensive line, 1-on-1. If you dominate the person in front of you, go up to the next level. Now it could be one, you dominate one in the next level, the linebacker level, or the secondary. So there's all those challenges, but you just word it, if you word it to them or present it to them in that fashion, and they'll be like, oh man, I can handle one-on-one.
I think what we've found too is, because we've been working with some kids over the last sort of 12 months, and what they really enjoy, which goes against what we naturally think, is they enjoy the details, the little finer details, and the technical aspect. Sometimes we don't give the kids credit. We think, it's too technical for them. But what we've found is, by teaching them all that technical stuff, they love it. It appeals to their intellect. Anyone who doesn't cut the mustard intellectually, we send them to defense, and they just become meatheads. But the real cerebral guys stay on offense. And, there's a real thing about picking your opposition apart piece by piece, and then, just dominating for him for the rest of the game. So that's what we appeal to. And I don't think rugby and rugby league have that aspect of technical difficulty that American football has. And what we found is the kids love it when you can break down, well, if your knee angle's here, if this player's shaded there, etc., man, they just lap it up. So it's our teaching, and like Mark said, the way we present it. We haven't had anyone that hasn't really enjoyed what they've learned. So,
I mean, we'll get the athlete that comes in, and they think they're Lawrence Taylor, but you put them out there and you see they're not Lawrence Taylor. But you let them play, and then after they get beat, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, they get disheartened, and you're trying to encourage them. Well, maybe we need to move you inside a little bit more. Or
and the hard thing too is you're teaching kids O-line techniques, but the defense isn't presenting what we're showing them, right? So they're kind of imagining, okay, so if the D lineman comes in and gives me a short arm or whatever, this is what I should do. But the kids here naturally, or the players, athletes, aren't doing that. They're still playing archaic football. So if we get the O-line really humming, then the defense has to step up. There's no other way around it. And then, we get that coaching up and going. And hopefully get the snowball.
To that, man, last Thursday we were trying to doing a bit of a session on the reach block and trying to block an outside zone and some jet sweep stuff, and saying if you can't seal your guy inside, just push him out, engage that inside hand, and blow him to the sideline. The defensive line wasn't reacting at all to the block, so everyone was sealing in the first step. You're like, come on, come on, defense, give them some real examples for that. So yeah, that's definitely a good point. Getting up both ways and making the players in a practice scene, make them all accountable. If you're pushing each other on both sides of the ball, it makes better players. But yep.
Have the Hawks found that Michael Orr Jr. from the blind side that pushes somebody into the bus?
Not quite.
Yeah.
No, not quite yet. A couple of big boys there, a couple of young fellas coming through, but getting them to keep running their feet is a thing. So hold on, I've already taken them 5 yards out. Keep through it, running back, keep going, but keep running them feet.
Exactly.
Nice.
One thing that we noticed, like when the kids will throw a punch on pass pro, then their feet stop. They all of a sudden they got cement in their legs, but so that's going to take repetition, getting them used to keeping their feet moving, etc. But the kids that we were working with over the time that we worked with them, maybe about 6 weeks, 7 weeks, they improved, man, every week.
Nice.
Yeah, they were improving greatly, so we were really happy with it.
And how many kids do you reckon you had regularly coming in over that time? Like, what kind of a core?
Sometimes we'd get maybe 10, but we had a real faithful, hardcore crew of 4.
Oh, that's great.
Four boys that were showing up, yeah. And they loved it. And they were young.
Hopefully after this, we can get that message out there a little bit more and grow that crew, because we know it's all going to be for the best of the game at the end of the day. Yeah. And so going back to what that comment you said about defenses not reacting, I don't think I'm I'm speaking out of turn by saying the game here is a little bit different than it's played in North America in terms of reading, reacting, and responsiveness. From both y'all situations, I guess, first off, tell us a little bit about how long you played in New Zealand. And then when you did transition, like when you went from the game in New Zealand to the States, how was that? How was that experience of how different was the sport? Taking what you learned and experienced here and then putting it into practice in your experiences in North America. How long did it take you to kind of adapt and adjust? And yeah, we'll just go with that for now.
Yeah, well, I was the big fish physically here, so my size kind of just allowed me to just push around people without any without any worry about schemes or another individual to outmaneuver or outplay me, kind of thing. And so by the time I got up there, thankfully I had that size that I could do that 60% of the time, but that other 40% I had to step up, because now it was more than just being that I guess that bully kind of thing, because now, you got people, or you go up against athletes that are mobile, agile kind of thing, and they take you out of what you're comfortable with. And so you learn and you adjust along with it. And, you get put into a situation where what are you going to do about this challenge? Are you going to step up to the challenge, or are you going to, you're going to tuck tail and run back home kind of thing? And so, there are a lot of those challenges that will challenge you, not only physically or mentally, but emotionally, socially. And so, yeah, I thought physically I could handle it, and the adjustments and the time, I guess, too, that I was given, because there's you can have a red shirt year, which is usually the first year of incoming freshmen. So I got that first year as a red shirt where I used that first year to get stronger in the gym, learn the game, technique-wise and things like that. So by the time that second season came around, where now I'm what they call a red shirt freshman, I have a little bit more of an idea of what I'm doing. And, luckily for me, I was a fast learner, and I was, that red shirt freshman year, I think I started from third game on. In the first 3 games, I was put in, a few series just to see how it would go, kind of thing. And end of the day, the coaches just looked what they saw on the film was, oh yeah, look, the guy doesn't know what he's doing, but he's chasing the other guy, who's wearing the different coloured jersey.
Yep.
So they figure, oh well, he'll go and hit someone in the mouth like we want, but we just got to teach him which which guy to go and hit, kind of thing. So.
And in a way that doesn't draw that yellow piece of laundry.
Oh well,
it was all unintentional, I'm sure. When you're starting out, you don't know.
Well, you learn real quick too, from that. After the first couple of flags, and then the coach gets on your case.
Yeah.
You learn real fast, and so so it's just adjustment on the go. So that's all it is.
Cool.
And when I was playing back in the early 90s, late 80s, here in New Zealand, it was really good at that time because we'd get like Americans come down and play. And there was one year we had 3 high schools come down. I think it was Idaho, Grossmont High School or something like that. Can't remember. And San Diego. But we got to play against their kids. We learned heaps from them. We ran an under-21 squad. And that was really awesome. But when Mark was up at up at Hawaii, we went up to his 1988 senior game. They played Oregon, the Ducks. So leading up to the week of their game, Mark tells me and our other brother, Houdini, and Eddie, oh, we're going to go do some drills. Remember when your O-line used to run your own?
Yeah, and that's, I think that's how that MIT started, was just those one-on-one drills that we would run.
So their O-line would go and do their own training outside of normal practice. So we went down and watched them go at it, and we were just astounded. We just couldn't believe, to be up close and see the intensity and how quick these big guys were getting off the line. We learned so much in that hour. So there was me, my brother Houdini, who ended up going to Utah, and then my other brother Eddie. So then we come back at the end of 1988. 1989, we hit the ground basically, and we were raring to go. Our first game was against a team called the North Shore Knights, I think, back in the day. Man, we just ripped them apart. And all it was what we saw with our own eyes, with the way it's really supposed to be played. So, I've never forgotten that. And I know if we can replicate that with the guys here more often, then it's just going to lift the level, But to see it played at a high level, it's such an awesome thing. So it'd be good if we could get, that sort of stuff happening again. Teams coming down here or sending people away or overseas. That's something that needs to happen again.
But definitely in the flesh as well, eh? I mean, it's all well and good.
Oh, yeah.
Watching, watching college football or NFL on the screens looks good, but I guess there's something subconscious in the head just going, well, of course it's good because they're there, but seeing, that's why they're there, but seeing it in the flesh, being like, well, hold on, my body moves like that too, and effort and everything, and it is a big eye-opener, right, for kids when they see it, and senior players, just to see it being done, like, all right, oh, okay, yeah.
I can remember they had one of their wide receivers come down, and he was just there to speed rush off the edge, and I was, we're thinking, how the hell do you block someone that fast?
Yeah.
That's impossible. But they would, these guys were shuffling and busting their tails to get there and do that.
Yep.
So, that was a lesson for us. Man, that's next level.
Cool.
Mm.
I'll write that down actually. Thursday training. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the fastest guy in your squad and line him up on the edge. Yep.
Yeah, man.
That's the way to do it.
Yep. He's often got the biggest mouth too. Actually, I know
Yeah.
the kid who'll put in there. It works.
Well, just quietly, I mean, if your offensive lineman's smart enough, you punch him in the mouth first, slow him down.
Yep.
That's just quietly. That's just between us right here. So, you know.
Yeah. Those are some of the gems that you will learn at the NSC camp.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to joke earlier about like one team, a single team kind of lifting the intensity with some of those mitts, those one-on-one big mans. But I think there's a few teams where that training might quickly turn into a boxing training.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We love everybody's a little bit intense maybe down here and just passionate about not losing. But I'm sorry.
I think what will be the saving grace is at those mitt battles, super lineman battles, you need quite a measure of cardiovascular fitness. Because those high school athletes were getting gassed after 3 or 4 reps, going up against different schools, and they had to manage that. Sometimes they would shorten the tournament so that they wouldn't get injured come semis and finals and stuff. But they get gassed really, really fast when they're going that intense.
And I think a lot of people listening to this would be pretty shocked. You talked about some high school teams coming down in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be really surprised to hear that.
Yep.
And do we have, do you think the connection still exists with people in Aotearoa to ignite that again? Do we have people that we can contact that would be keen to bring young fellas down here again and reinitiate that once our borders open back up, you reckon?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that that's something that definitely could be on the calendar. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation that needs to go around making that happen. COVID hasn't helped either, but that's something that needs to feature, in the football calendar here, bringing something of that here.
And how about getting some of our boys ready to just go over individuals coming from Aotearoa and heading over North American side to play in a high school or a university comp over there? What are y'all's thoughts and feelings on the likelihood of that happening over the next few years?
Yeah, I think that's a reality as well. Definitely a reality. That's something on the cards that I know that's in the conversation for NZF and AFA as well. But yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces in that.
Okay.
But that needs to happen if we're to really move things forward. Yeah.
On that point, Matt, if nothing's, there's obviously some more conversations that need to be had, and some plans set in stone, and some, really sort out these player pathway stuff. For those, until that stuff does get sorted, if you're talking to some, teenage fellas now who are looking to kind of do it, what would be their, what should be their focus at this stage? Obviously, marks and grades is, that's kind of the first thing that gets looked at to even be allowed to, step foot on any sort of campus, high school and college over there. But otherwise, what do you reckon should be the focus for these fellas?
Oh man, it's more than just the physical side of things too, So there's the grades you speak about, but then I guess we just have to, make sure that the kid understands that it's not that easy, it's not that simple, and he has to commit to what's necessary and what it takes to get there. Myself personally, I did not know what the word commitment was all about until I actually got challenged by the head coach up in Hawaii, that first year. And so the story, we have our big meetings and stuff, and, we're in the big auditorium where there's 100 players. Auditorium's like a movie theater where, you got us all sitting up on the coach is up there on the stage and this and that. And so he goes through his little speech and everything, and then he comes to the part, okay, where he calls players out and he gets them to stand up. And you think, oh, yeah, what's going on here? The first couple, he's praising them. And he calls my name, and I'm thinking, oh, I haven't done anything to deserve praise, right? So he said, I've got to stand up, and and I've got to face my teammates and everything. And he gives me an earful and goes, Nua, there's some potential there, but you got to step up. And so he put it on me that day, and he goes, I want you to make a commitment not only to me, the head coach, but to your teammates here. But you come back in the fall season, you come in weighing at such and such a weight, which at the time was 325, and ready to go. And by this time, I'm just cruising along, right? Because I'm in my red shirt year, so I'm going to school, working out, going down to Waikiki, kind of thing. And so I was cruising. But man, he put it on me there that I felt like I was 2 feet tall. And you stand there in front of everybody and you pause and you go, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to, so I said, yeah, I commit to it, coach. But I wasn't 100% behind that commitment that I'd made. I just said yes because I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of my teammates and the other coaches. But walking out of that meeting, I was like, well, I said yes. So I better get started, kind of thing. So yeah. And thankfully, I rose to the challenge and I came into that redshirt freshman year weighing in. Actually, I was under. I think I came in at around 320. So which was a good thing because I went up there. I was a big lad. I think I went up there. I was around about
400 and
420.
460, 100, 500 was it?
No, I was only 420.
Oh, only
Yeah.
after you'd lost 80 pounds back in NZ before you went.
You were only allowed to check one bag on that flight, though, eh? You weren't allowed to.
Hey, man. It was, my family, man. I went on with the bag that I carried on the plane. One of the, those Air New Zealand carry bags, those light blue ones with the old Air New Zealand emblem on them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I guess to talk to what your question is there too, Ben, what can kids do now? That's kind of what brought about NSC and trying to set up the camps and, an academy as such to try and get the kids, A, something to do, and then B, something to teach them that, they can practically work towards. And just things like Mark's talking about, those little nuances of being a student athlete. What he went through is tantamount to abuse because my old lady and old man said to him, hey, buddy, if you don't succeed over there, don't bother coming home, all right, because we ain't got money to bring you back.
Yeah, so, that too. Yeah.
Right? So, getting all these new young ones, these millennials to understand that's the other side of it, the mental side of the game. But we're trying to teach them, obviously, as much as we can, prepare them for as much as we can, but putting a structure in place too that can make it easy for them, and a structure that's physical and that they can easily work off. And that's kind of what we're doing. We've put some of that together. We're still working on making that happen. And, we've got some really good relationships established, and we're not the football doesn't revolve around us. We revolve around football. So it's something that's got to be shared, continually shared, from one person to another. So it's a doorway that we feel that we've got that we want to keep open, try and invite people in. But that's what's happened with NSC. We've seen what's happened because we've always had really good responses when the guys have come over, Jesse Sapolo and them. And in the past, kids have wanted to carry on, and we've tried to help them, but we haven't had things set up properly for them. So they may have, missed. But now we're trying to fix that and make those and solidify those pathways a bit more.
Nice.
Awesome. And so just thinking about how involved you guys have been over the years with Gridiron in New Zealand in some capacity, what are your thoughts on the state of the game right now? I mean, COVID aside, obviously we've had a massive disruption this year, and we'll come to that in terms of how you guys plan on responding to that and where the big man camps are at. But what are some things that you think Gridiron is going well with Gridiron in New Zealand, or do you reckon what kind of experience are Kiwis getting with this sport in terms of being a participant in it right now? How do you guys feel about the game in Auckland at the moment?
What I really like seeing at the moment is the junior grades that have started. When I played and when I left, it was only seniors. So now that I'm back, I've been in Australia recently for a fair bit of time, and then just to come back anyways in the last couple of years and seeing that there's a junior competition going, which is ideal. I think and the younger the kids are that we can get over there at high school level, the chances are even better that they develop at high school level and might secure a college education as well, kind of thing. So that's a good thing to see. And then I think the numbers, the game here is good to see that it's increasing as well. And then you got your teams in Hamilton and Wellington and Christchurch. So they all need to be included in what we're trying to do in regards to coaching the coaches and hopefully developing their game down there as well. And so I think improving the coaching is only going to improve the game.
Yeah, I feel like we had more players back in the early 80s. Late 80s, early 90s. I think we had about 10 teams there for 3 or 4 years, and I could be wrong here, but it'd be good to see the numbers grow, even more. And Mark's right in seeing the young guys come through and retaining those young guys, because a lot of them will play a little bit in the Colts and then they go and do other stuff, So, which is understandable. But there's a lot of good athletes that we miss the mark on there. If we could hold on to them, and I suppose if we can get them overseas into that setup, they don't have to become NFL. They don't have to become Division I college. If they just get into that setup, get that experience, and then can come back home and join the league or help to get things rolling here, and that's awesome. That's getting runs on the board. So seeing what Shiraz and the AFA guys, their plan that they rolled out, that's fantastic. It's awesome. Long overdue. So, I think we're heading in the right direction. We just want to do our part, play our part, see where we can jump in, support the teams. It's great to see Metro Lions and Hamilton Hawks. Man, those guys that's the hardcore soldiers right there of New Zealand football. Tamaki Lightning up there as well. There's a lot of good teams that have gone by the wayside, sadly. And that's a lot of experience that we've missed out on there. But big ups to Metro and Hamilton. Metro and Hamilton used to have some real ding-dong battles back in the early 90s. Good times. But, I think going forward looks pretty positive. Of course, who can forget the world-famous Stack the Box? I'm blessed that we're on here early so we can say, hey, we were one of the first guys that were on there. Remember that?
That's right. I'm sure our viewer stats are going to grow significantly after this episode too. Thank you, boys.
Oh, I don't think you can stack the box much more than having us on here. So.
we got room for a few more Nua brothers. Those calls.
Is there a weight limit on Zoom? I don't know.
So where's the big man camps at right now? What's like where we're standing right now in terms of, because Shiraz is like, the idea was that they were going to be kicking off this week, kind of, weren't they, initially? But of course we got hit with more lockdowns and more restrictions, and so what's in the woodworks right now for those that might be interested in getting involved?
Well, we had plans, originally I think September 26th we were looking at, but it's pending level 2.5, etc. And then doing something in October. We were going to do a couple of things in October and then lead right into the season. And then you guys can kick off your season with a couple of those preseason things for people to be a part of. But that's all on the hold for now. But we've prepared and we're ready to go.
So if we go down to level 1 miraculously next week, then could there be one on the Saturday, the 26th of September?
Probably not the 26th of September, but there'll be an announcement for something in October, definitely.
So tune in to Stack the Box episode 5 for that information.
There you go, hot off the press.
Coming at you in 2 weeks. Well, I'm sure Sam can send an Insta on the DMs and get her to announce it along with her level changes next time she's on. Next time she's on air. Nice.
I hear she likes Nuans there, Sam.
She's one of us. She's Nuan.
Oh, that's a real Islander comment, eh?
And in that first for that first big man camp that runs on, are we talking full kit, full get up, full gear, mouth guards, helmets, shoulder pads?
We were looking at something along the lines of, see, the first one, we wanted it to be coach heavy or coach presence heavy, and players to come along and they can just we will use them as the dummies kind of thing, or as the athletes to coach. So along those lines, we wanted to do something like two clinics, coach incentivized, and then if we can get a third one, then that's when we'll actually hold like a mid competition where each club is invited, or each club is invited to submit a team for each age group, and so we can hold that, and then at the end of it, we find out who's the mid NZ, or it would have to be mid Auckland.
Super lineman camps, yeah. So there'll be, say for example, October 3rd would be our first clinic, which would be coach heavy, and there'll be a little bit of a scrimmage. So we'd invite players as well, and then that would culminate on the following week, which would be October 10. For example, we would actually have the Super Lineman Challenge, and then all the clubs would come up, represent, bring their, and then, we go live, we get it on, get a bit of competition going, hit the AFA up for a, $10,000 prize, and but that's the concept anyway around it. And we were even contemplating what we'd like to do is, so in that week leading up to the actual challenge, we'd be happy to go and visit, say, some clubs during that week, just to go over the rules, fine tune what the layout of the actual tournament would be like. So we go to Hamilton. What nights do you train in Hamilton?
Tuesdays, Thursdays, but I'm sure that if we had you guys coming down the highway, man, we could muster together some interim trainings or anything? I'm sure there's a whole lot of keen players down here as well, man. So
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll head down there and just maybe spend an hour or so going over how the point system works, etc. And Wednesday we'll go to Metro. Thursday we go to the Wildcats or whatever. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Awesome. And can I throw in a request for when that big man comp goes on? Can we create an award just for the best 3-point stance? They could be a shit blocker and a terrible hitter and not make a block at all. But if they got a lovely 3-point stance, can we just acknowledge that in one person?
For sure.
We can,
Just for that person like me out there that has great look and technique pre-snap, but then just packs himself once that ball moves and somebody starts running in the face.
That'll be the Gambolati Outland Trophy.
I'll donate to it.
I do picture actually. When you use the long snap, Gambo, you're the one. You're almost doing the splits, right?
That's right. That O-line flexibility challenge. I'll run those off to the side for some of those that go out in the first round of the minute. It'll be bracket number 2 in the elimination.
Yeah. I think you're making up your own little competition here now, Rob.
That's right. That's right. The men just on the edge of the trenches. The Met.
There you go.
Awesome. All right, boys. Well, hey, we're going to throw some quick fire questions at you. And the way we're going to do this is Matt, sorry, but I'm going to start with your younger brother, Mark, on these first few. And then I'll bounce to you.
No, yeah, of course.
No, I'm just kidding. So I'll throw the first question out to Mark. So we'll get Mark to answer, and then Matt, you answer, and then the second question I'll go to Matt, and then back to Mark, and we'll just keep bouncing that way. Cool. So, typical football question for those people that have kind of grown up loving the sport. Mark, college or NFL?
Oh, I'd have to say college.
All right, Matt.
Sorry, I missed that question. You just dropped out.
College or NFL?
Oh, college.
Oh, okay. See, I think that's a tough question because they don't show much college here, just NFL. So I think Kiwis want to follow the NFL, but yeah, true football fans. All right, Matt, favorite team?
What, college or NFL?
Whatever.
I actually
Who do you love watching most?
49ers.
49ers. Mark?
I'm a Giants fan.
Oh, interesting. You guys go East-West Coast. I like this. All right. Mark, favorite player of all time?
Ooh, man. Can I give you 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
Barry Sanders and Junior Seau.
All right, Matt, you're not allowed to answer because Mark gave us 2. Sorry. No, I'm just Matt, favorite player of all time?
I will go the Minister of Defense, Reggie White.
Oh,
Nice.
And I'll sit there. I'm happy with that.
I like it. How about favorite current player, Matt?
My favorite current player is Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh,
Nice. Mark?
Pat Mahomes.
Oh. Yeah. He's got a little bit of spare cash on his hands now, hasn't he?
Yeah, man.
And this has got to be the easiest question in the world. But offense or defense, Mark?
Oh, offense, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Matt?
Chess players all day, brother. Offense.
I like it. 2 men after my own heart. I love it. Awesome. Matt, most important position on the field?
Oh, O-line. Any position on the O-line.
Mark?
Yeah, left tackle on offensive left tackle.
Nice. All right. Getting a bit deep here. Mark, worst football memory?
Worst football memory, sometimes I can't remember half the things. No, that is the memory. We talk about CTE. I always joked about it and everything, but I kind of think, that might be a part of the life now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, worst football memory?
Mine would be my first year of football. It was a horrible year.
Who were you playing for?
Metro Light. Well, I played for the Wildcats. I was 13 years old. There were no Colts. So I had to play with the I had to play with the seniors, so yeah.
Oh, nice.
So that whole year was a rough one here.
All right, flipping it the other way around. Matt, best football memory?
Oh, best football memory. Probably, I'm going to go with going to Mark's senior game,
Nice.
watching them play Oregon. And they
Awesome.
spanked them 44-0.
Oh, good show. I like
It
it.
was a good party.
Yeah, I can't even remember the game itself nor the score. So it's
You clearly played one hell of a game that day, though, Mark. I'm sure you were responsible for at least 30 of those 44 points.
I tell you, I feel like I was player of the day.
Best football memory, Mark?
Oh no, it's definitely when my family came up to those times to visit up in Hawaii. They came up a couple of times, and it was just a joy to see them. So you know, they got to see that part of my life up there, and so yeah, that would be my favorite.
Awesome. And one of the most important questions about football, what's your favorite food to eat while you're watching football, Mark?
Oh, mate, everything, anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Matt, you got a favorite food while you're watching the game?
Chickpeas and quinoa. Nah,
Salad.
I'm only kidding.
In a salad.
Pig's head.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, Mark and Matt, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Thanks for significantly increasing the quality of Stack the Box for what it's been so far this season. But hey,
Good job, mate. But hey, I think we did all right.
100%. And yeah, hopefully for those people that are watching, keep an eye out for those NSC big name camps coming up. And yeah, man, you heard it straight from these guys. Man, the experience that these boys bring, that offensive line, it's no slouch. You can put a helmet on any knucklehead. They can run around like a chicken with no head on and make a tackle, like Sam's proven over the years. But man, it takes some real playbook knowledge and technique and brains to hit up that O-line really, really well. So no, I appreciate you guys coming in and sharing your thoughts and your experiences with us. And I really hope that we can get a few more of those Auckland boys at least until we can grow it out to the further regions. I mean, yeah, Hamilton at a stretch, I guess, but now we look forward to you guys getting around to the entire nation and really making a difference to a lot of those that young O-line talent that we know exists here in Aotearoa and getting back to that stage where we can turn on the telly and see some of those homegrown boys playing on there the way you guys have and other members of your whānau and other old boys that have been part of that comp from the 80s and 90s, and yeah, getting back to that stage. But yeah, thanks again so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it, and yeah, wish you guys the best and look forward to catching up with you as the season, once we get out of this 2.5 jibber jabber and can strap back up and get back out on that grass.
Well, appreciate the support and everything, and just want to wish your podcast every success. Keep stacking the box because you just never know.
Yeah.
That's right. It's way more exciting for the O-line when the box gets stacked a little bit. Hey.
That's it. Thanks for having us, guys. We look forward to when we can actually come in studio there in your plush studios, and you can actually surprise some fried chicken with the stack in the box.
Have some pig's head ready.
And
There you
chickpeas.
go.
I'll bring the quinoa. Yeah.
Dan and Ben, anything you guys want to add before we go off?
Thanks again, fellas. Yeah, this is awesome. Nice to catch up for the first time to me, and I'll for sure be in touch, and we'll meet in person. Look forward to it. So, primo, thanks, guys.
Cool. Cool.
No worries, mate. Nice jersey, by the way.
Cool. 1-0. Let's go.
Good to see the big Usos. We'll have to catch up soon at Ollie's for some quinoa.
Yes.
Some,
Quinoa flavoured ice cream.
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, ask him how to spell it.
In a pork
Awesome.
bun.
Yeah, there you go.
He'll spell it with a K.
And we'll have that trophy ready for you there, the Gambolati Outland Trophy.
Yeah, that sounds good. Best,
The most magnificent three-point stance coming to you in 2020. You heard it here first. All right, look forward to catching up with y'all in episode 5 of Stack the Box. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys.